Welcome to Mind Set in Stone podcasts, where we dive deep into the most compelling books on the shelf. Join hosts Dave and Poppy as they uncover the stories, themes, and ideas that shape our understanding and inspire curiosity. Get ready to explore the big ideas that leave a lasting impact. Let's get started.
Have you ever found yourself in a moment, maybe catching your reflection in a shop window? Or just pausing for breath, and you felt this, flicker of disconnection, a sense that the woman staring back isn't quite, you.
Yeah, I think a lot of us know that feeling, that sort of displacement.
Exactly. Displacement of self. And it seems so common, right? Especially when life gets overwhelming, which, let's be honest, feels like most days for a lot of people.
Right.
But what if that quiet melancholy, that nagging feeling that something's off, isn't because you've lost yourself entirely? What if it's more that you're just longing for the woman you were actually meant to be?
That's a powerful shift in perspective right there.
It really is. And today, we're going to embark on, a really insightful journey. A true deep dive into a transformative source. A Daybook of Comfort and Joy by Sarah Ban Breathnach.
Fantastic book.
It really is. And it's not just, another collection of daily affirmations or quotes you might see floating around. It's this profound year-long guide to reclaiming your authentic self. Like a comprehensive manual for actually living with genuine comfort and joy. It invites you, our listener, on this rich, introspective journey, just one day at a time, to kind of peel back the layers and rediscover what truly lights you up.
That's precisely right. At its heart, a Daybook of Comfort and Joy. It really offers this gentle but really powerful framework. It helps us find our way back to our most authentic selves.
Gentle but powerful. I like that.
Yeah. And it's built on the idea, the premise, that true comfort and joy, they're not just fleeting emotions, right?
Or things you achieve outside yourself, like a promotion or something.
Exactly. They're states of being, things you can actually cultivate from the inside out. The book gives you these daily meditations, reflections, prompts us to look at our habits, our surroundings, our relationships. All of it, all with the goal of aligning our inner world with our outer reality. It's quite holistic.
Okay, so what's our mission then, for this deep dive specifically?
Our mission today is really to unpack the core wisdom of this remarkable guide. We want to pull out those practical takeaways, those actionable steps,
The stuff you can actually do.
The stuff you can do. Real-life applications that you can integrate into your everyday life, maybe starting today. We'll explore how to cultivate, profound inner peace, even when things feel chaotic. How to embrace simplicity as a pathway to abundance. Finding genuine, deep joy in the seemingly mundane moments.
The little things.
The little things. And ultimately aligning your life with your deepest, most authentic desires and values. It's really about transformation, not just information.
Okay, let's unpack this journey then. Authentic living. The book makes this really powerful assertion right at the beginning. It says the path starts by acknowledging a fundamental truth. It kind of hits you right in the heart with this idea that the core of our melancholy might just be that we miss the woman we were meant to be.
Wow.
It suggests we spend so much time conforming, pleasing others, striving for external stuff, that we just lose touch with our innate essence.
It's easy to do.
So easy. But here's the genuinely wonderful part, the really reassuring news.
Okay.
Your authentic self hasn't, abandoned you. She hasn't packed her bags and left.
Right.
Instead, the book says she's been waiting patiently for you to recognize her and reconnect. Just think about that for a second. It's not about finding something totally new, something outside you.
No, it's a remembering.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Remembering, recognizing, re-embracing what was always there, just waiting beneath the surface. That feels so much more possible, doesn't it?
It really does. Less pressure.
Definitely. And the book offers this fascinating, almost detective-like approach to finding her again. It shares this example from Joanna Field's journal, way back in 1926.
Oh, yeah, I remember this part.
So Field was feeling adrift, unsure what truly made her happy. So she undertook this meticulous, almost scientific experiment. She started journaling specifically to track specific moments of delight. Not big earth-shattering events.
Yeah, all the small stuff.
Tiny clues, like a detective searching the minutiae of her day for triggers of joy. And what she found wasn't about monumental experiences, but these quiet, specific moments that just resonated deep down.
And that intentional observation, that's the key, isn't it? Actually paying attention.
Totally. To understand what genuinely makes you tick.
And what's truly fascinating here is how the book encourages us to view our inner selves. It's not just this abstract concept. It suggests we can metaphorically visit this authentic self in what it calls the golden mirror, seeing her as the highest reflection of your soul, the embodiment of the perfect woman who resides within.
Wow, the golden mirror. That's a powerful image.
Isn't it? And it's not about vanity. It's a visualization tool. It invites you to connect with your idealized self, the woman you know you can be. The book frames this whole thing as a safari of the self, a journey into the wilderness of your intuition.
A safari of the self.
Yeah.
I love that.
Like you're an intrepid explorer, heading into your own rich, wild, often unexplored inner landscape, trusting that your deepest wisdom is right there.
Okay, but that raises a huge question, doesn't it? Especially now, in our world. How do we even begin to connect with that inner wisdom, with that authentic self, especially when we're so caught up in, well, everything else? External demands, noise.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We're bombarded expectations from family, work, society. The to-do lists are endless. It's so easy to forget to just pause.
And listen.
And listen, to actually hear the whispers of our own hearts. It's about cutting through all that external clamor to find your inner compass again.
So where does the book suggest we start?
Yeah.
What's the first step on that safari?
Well, the book points to gratitude as an absolutely foundational step.
Yeah.
Foundational.
Okay.
It asserts with such clarity that gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more.
Enough and more. That's interesting.
It is. It's not just a nice sentiment. It's presented as this profound, almost alchemical transformation. Gratitude, according to the book, has the power to turn denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion into clarity.
Wow.
It can turn a simple meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. It's this fundamental shift in perspective that redefines what having enough really means.
That makes so much sense. The author shares a personal story about this from January 11th.
Yes, it's a beautiful anecdote. She talks about a time when she was facing a, quote, temporary cash flow problem, worrying about money like so many of us do.
In there.
Right. But instead of dwelling on the lack, she consciously started listing simple blessings.
Like what?
Things like daisies in a jelly jar, the sweet fragrance of my daughter's hair, the first sip of tea in the morning, really simple things.
Yeah.
And she had this epiphany. She realized these simple joys had always been there, constantly present. She just hadn't been noticing them, appreciating them.
So the abundance was there all along, just hidden in plain sight.
Exactly. It showed her that her personal net worth, her true abundance, it just couldn't be determined by her bank account. It's a spiritual economy, as she puts it.
A spiritual economy. I like that framing.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the book talks about the act of blessing whatever vexes us.
Blessing what vexes us. That sounds challenging.
It does, but it's presented as this powerful spiritual surrender. It's about consciously choosing to release the struggle, to be willing, even eager, to learn life's lessons through joy, not just through pain.
Learning through joy instead of pain.
Yeah. The book suggests we can trust in a greater wisdom. It offers a better way than constantly learning through struggle and hardship. If you're tired of the difficult lessons life seems to keep throwing at you.
Which can feel relentless sometimes.
Absolutely. Then actively blessing those difficulties, the book says, will literally show you an easier, more graceful path forward. It's not about denying problems, it's about transforming your relationship with them through grace and trust.
Okay, that's a radical act of faith.
Yeah.
Really.
It is. A faith in a more benevolent learning process.
So all this talk about gratitude, it sounds incredibly powerful in theory. But how do we actually make it a consistent practice, something we do every day?
Right, the practical application. And the book offers something remarkably simple, but profoundly impactful.
Okay, ready.
This brings us to practical application 1, the daily gratitude journal.
A gratitude journal. Okay, I've heard of this, but what are the specifics here?
The details are beautifully straightforward. Find a blank book, one that feels special to you, inviting.
Make it nice.
Yeah, make it nice. Then, each night before bed, make it a non-negotiable ritual. Write down 5 things you are grateful for from that specific day.
5 things. Okay.
And they don't have to be huge, life-changing events. They can be incredibly simple joys, finding your lost keys.
Oh, that's a big one some days.
Isn't it? Or enjoying your favorite song while doing chores. The power is in the conscious act of noticing, appreciating, and then physically writing them down. You're training your brain to see the good.
Right, that repetition.
Exactly. The profound power lies in its simplicity and consistency. Psychologists say it takes about 21 days to start forming a habit, right? The author herself notes that this ritual helps her clear my head and calm my restless spirit. It becomes this wonderfully reassuring rhythm.
Like an anchor at the end of the day.
Precisely, a quiet conversation with your wiser, saner self, your authentic self. And the book even suggests that often this nightly practice can yield surprising answers to problems you're grappling with.
Really? How so?
Just by shifting your focus to gratitude, it creates space. It brings relief, release. Even if the answer isn't immediately obvious, it fosters that inner dialogue and clarity.
That's powerful. Okay, so gratitude is foundational. What's next on this path to self-awareness?
Another critical element really tied into authenticity is learning to differentiate between your fundamental needs and your seemingly endless wants.
Needs versus wants. Sounds simple, but I bet it's deeper than it looks.
It really is. The book argues it's far more profound and often more overlooked than we think.
How does the author illustrate this?
She recounts this really striking personal experience. She deliberately and quite bravely, she says, wean herself off worldly distractions. Things like popular magazines, the daily news cycle, impulsive shopping for several months. And she experienced genuine withdrawal pains. She describes feeling achy, shaky, dizzy, like a physical withdrawal.
Seriously, from magazines and shopping.
Apparently so.
Yeah?
And this intense, uncomfortable period taught her in a really visceral way to differentiate between my needs and my wants. It forced her to confront what she could truly live without versus what she just convinced herself she needed.
That sounds unpleasant, but incredibly clarifying.
Exactly, a liberating lesson in self-knowledge. And the book presents this as a necessary precursor, a foundational step before you can really move forward authentically.
So you need to understand what you can live without first.
Yes. It emphasizes that living authentically means deeply understanding what you can genuinely live without rather than constantly chasing more, accumulating more. It's recognizing that just having money or stuff doesn't guarantee authenticity or peace. You have to master what you can genuinely budget for your actual needs before you can move forward in a meaningful way. It frees up so much mental and emotional space.
That makes a lot of sense. Freeing up space. Okay, so we've covered the inner landscape, gratitude, needs versus wants, connecting with that authentic self. How does this inner shift start showing up externally? In our world, our surroundings.
Right, moving from the inner to the outer. The book offers equally profound insights here, championing the power of simplicity, consistently reminding us that less is truly more.
Less is more. We hear that a lot, but what does it mean in this context?
It's not just about decluttering, though that's part of it. It's a deeper philosophy. The book powerfully states that our financial situation doesn't define our true abundance.
Okay.
It posits that abundance is our spiritual birthright. And then it proposes this really counterintuitive truth, especially today. The simpler we make our lives, the more abundant they become.
Simpler means more abundant. How does that work?
It's about experiencing what you do have more richly, appreciating the intangible wealth, time, peace, connection, instead of getting caught in the endless cycle of acquiring more stuff.
Shifting focus from quantity to quality, maybe.
Exactly. And this idea extends directly to our homes, our physical environments. While, practicalities and budgets might defer your dream of truly expressing yourself through your surroundings.
We all have those Pinterest boards, right?
We do, but the book encourages working with those limitations, seeing life and decorating not as fixed destinations, but as works of art in progress.
Okay, so embracing the process, not just the perfect end result.
Precisely. It frees us from that pressure of perfection. It allows us to transform what we already have into something beautiful and meaningful right now, instead of waiting for some ideal condition or budget. It's creativity within constraints.
I like that. Creativity within constraints. So this leads to the idea of order, doesn't it, in our lives and homes?
Directly. The book suggests that domesticity and spirituality are invisibly but inexorably connected. When you weave these two together thoughtfully, they create this rich tapestry of contentment in daily life.
Domesticity and spirituality connected. How so?
It gives these wonderful examples, like the Shakers, who saw even mundane tasks, like making a bed, as prayer, inviting grace into their actions. Or Brother Lawrence, the monk who felt God's spirit right there among the pots and pans in the kitchen.
Wow. Elevating the everyday.
Exactly. Elevating simple chores from burdens to sacred acts just by shifting your attitude and intention.
So cleaning, organizing, it can actually be an inspired action.
Yes.
Yeah.
Transforming the negative or tedious into something meaningful. Attitude is all, the book says simply. If you don't endow your life and work with meaning, no one else can do it for you.
Right.
It reframes domestic tasks as opportunities for connection, for finding peace right where you are, bringing conscious awareness, like a form of meditation, to whatever you're doing.
Okay, so finding peace through order. That brings us to another practical step, doesn't it? Organizing papers and desks.
Yes, practical application too. Organizing your personal papers and desk. It sounds mundane, but it's incredibly impactful.
What's the advice here? Just tidy up.
It's a bit more intentional. Make it a regular habit. Go through papers, organize your desk, discard ruthlessly, hang new calendars. Make your workspace, wherever it is, inviting and functional.
It's not just about neatness then.
No, it's about creating a clearer, more efficient, more peaceful space. A cluttered desk often equals a cluttered mind, right?
Guilty as charged sometimes.
We all are. But the real power, the book explains, is reclaiming control over your daily life. That directly impacts your inner serenity.
How?
It suggests a monthly, ruthless toss and refile. Takes maybe an hour, but it's very reassuring. Think about the time and mental energy wasted looking for things, stressing over bills or buried ideas.
Right. That feeling of, where is that thing?
Exactly. By ordering your papers, your environment, you ransom back that lost time and energy. You create a profound sense of control, which translates directly into peace, clarity, less anxiety. It's really an act of self-care.
Ransoming back time. I like that. Okay, so if organizing papers is impactful, what about the whole home? Transforming it into a haven.
That's practical application 3, transform your home into a haven. The book reminds us that home was historically seen as heaven on earth, a hallowed haven.
A hallowed haven. That sounds lovely.
Doesn't it? It suggests applying principles like feng shui, the ancient Chinese art of arranging environments for energy flow, or qi.
Okay, like moving furniture.
Sort of. It suggests moving 27 objects in your home that haven't budged in the last year. A simple symbolic act believed to enhance your ability to move forward in life by clearing stagnant energy.
27 objects. Interesting. Any other simple tips?
Yeah, hanging a brass wind chime inside your front door for clarity. Placing fresh flowers in your bedroom for good luck and vitality.
Small things, big impact potentially.
And the author shares that personal story, realizing she always read in her bedroom because there was no comfy chair in a living room.
Ah, right. Highlighting how important it is to make shared spaces comfortable for you, the person living there.
Exactly. Not just for guests or how it looks. And this is where Love's decorating secrets come in.
Love's decorating secrets. What are those?
The book emphasizes that even without a big budget, love and time are essential ingredients. Investing your time, creative energy, emotion. That's what infuses a space with your spirit and turns a house into a cherished home.
So it's about the energy you put in.
Yes. Embodying Hestia, the Greek goddess of hearth and home, cultivating that spirit so even mundane tasks feel like they're done with ease and grace, finding peace in the repetition.
Okay, so home is a haven. Now, the book also talks about personal style and appearance, right? But maybe not in the way we usually think about it.
Exactly. It challenges conventional thinking quite a bit.
How so?
Well, the core idea is liberating. You are not your appearance, but the world perceives it, judges it.
Right. The reality check.
Yeah. And it suggests inner beauty, outward charm are inexorably connected, linked, based on that old idea. As is the inner, so is the outer.
Your internal state reflects externally.
And then it critiques society's pressure to be other women, Cindy Crawford, Martha Stewart, whoever the ideal is now, that this leads to confusion about our own authenticity.
It's so true, that comparison trap.
Totally. The book gently reminds us our best is good enough, even on a bad day.
I need that reminder sometime. So how do we embrace our unique look when fashion seems to push conformity?
The fashion versus style distinction. The book says fashion often mocks individuality, pushing trends, while true style celebrates it.
Okay, what's the difference?
Fashion is cutting edge, maybe flashy, self-centered. Style knows the classic simplicity, beauty, elegance have staying power. Style is high-spirited, generous, it touts your best features. Fashion can be a bore, designed to make you feel inadequate.
So cultivate style, not chase fashion.
Exactly. Possessed style, a look that belongs to you.
Okay, so how do we do that practically? Is there an application here?
Absolutely. Practical application 4. Embrace your authentic style. It's about taking the plunge into consciously exploring how you express yourself through appearance.
Taking the plunge sounds a bit scary.
It can be. But it clarifies this is much more than just how we dress or style our hair. It's about all the subtle ways we choose to either celebrate or conceal our authenticity.
Celebrating versus concealing.
Okay. The practical steps involve clearing away the fashion clutter, ruthlessly parting with fashion mistakes and mismatches from past versions of yourself.
Letting go of clothes that aren't you anymore.
Precisely. Clothes that don't fit your authentic self, your current life, your actual body. Then deliberately identify and cherish the clothes you absolutely love and can't imagine living without. The ones that feel like you.
Finding your core wardrobe, the pieces that really resonate.
Yes. And there's that lovely example of the friend donating expensive discards to a charity for women needing interview clothes, creating a cycle of good that attracts more prosperity back.
Intentional giving.
Yeah.
I like that. What else falls under authentic style?
Well, it touches on seemingly simple things like making peace with your hair, acknowledging it can feel like a nightmare sometimes.
Huh. Yes, the struggle is real.
It advises patience, seeking professional advice from stylists who get your hair, and avoiding impulse decisions. And profoundly, it redefines weight loss.
How so?
Not as chasing some external ideal, but as an act of self-love. Trusting your body's wisdom to find the weight where you feel comfortable, energetic, truly yourself.
So it's about nurturing your spirit, not just dieting.
Exactly. Which, the book suggests, helps physical cravings loosen their grip naturally. Your body finds its own healthy balance when you stop fighting it and start loving it.
Wow. Okay, that's a huge shift. So moving into sustaining this authentic self, how do we maintain harmony and balance in our, frankly, chaotic lives?
Right, sustaining the spirit. The book suggests that restoring rhythm to the way you conduct your affairs can bring you contentment and a sense of well-being, finding that natural flow.
Restoring rhythm. Sounds nice, but how? Life feels like it never slows down.
And that's a core idea the book tackles head-on. This belief many of us secretly hold, that life will eventually calm down, that we have to wait for the perfect moment to start living the life we deserve.
Yeah, I'll do that when.
Exactly. But the book reports from the front lines of authentic living that life is movement, change, unexpected demands. Always.
So we can't wait for tomorrow.
We can't. We have to make a conscious, courageous choice to live the lives we deserve now, in this moment. Take agency over the present.
Okay, but how do we cope with the constant demands without getting totally frazzled?
The advice is deceptively simple, but effective. To recover our sanity, we need to practice concentrating slowly on completing one task at a time each hour of the day.
One task at a time, single tasking.
Yes, cultivating single-minded focus, deliberate presence, living fully in the present moment, immersing yourself in the task at hand. The book even suggests acting as if you are serene, like Grace Kelly, to help bring about that inner peace.
Fake it till you make it, almost.
In a way, outer action influencing inner state. It creates a feedback loop.
Interesting. What about finding actual quiet? Time to recharge.
Ah, yes. One of the most powerful ways to restore balance is through what the book calls sacred idleness, a concept it says is fearfully neglected today.
Sacred idleness. I like the sound of that, but we feel so guilty doing nothing.
Exactly. But the book reframes it as an absolute necessity for well-being.
How does the author practice this?
She commits to consciously ransoming at least an hour's worth of solitude out of every 24 and defending it against all intrusions.
Ransoming an hour. Okay, what does that look like?
It can be simple. Retiring an hour earlier than your partner to read quietly. Dedicating a Saturday morning to just stay in bed and recharge. No agenda.
Permission to just
Me? Yes. And the book highlights napping too, not just for physical energy, but to care for our souls. Naps allow our imaginations to soar, help us sort things out, even rehearse dreams.
caring for our souls with naps. I'm
Oh.
in.
Right. The crucial takeaway here is making solitude a conscious, non-negotiable priority, not a luxury.
Not something you earn after everything else is done.
Precisely. The book warns about privacy deprivation syndrome, getting sick being the only permission we give ourselves to rest. It's a call to cultivate inward attention, create quiet time. It's a spiritual anchor.
The spiritual anchor. Needed. Okay, so beyond quiet time, what about actively finding joy? Playfulness.
Yes, the book beautifully encourages rediscovering joy and play, savoring the art of the small, consciously seeking out those little delights.
The art of the small. Like Joanna Field's journal again.
Exactly. It mentions J.B. Priestley's 1949 book, Delight, where he chronicled things like waking to the smell of coffee, reading detective stories in bed, suddenly doing nothing.
Simple pleasures.
The quiet moments that subtly enrich our lives, often more than the big events.
And the core idea is
Play is the exaltation of the possible. Lightheartedness is connected to spirit, creativity. Lighthearted people can open their hearts, turn on creativity effortlessly.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Practical application 6. Engage in creative excursions and hobbies, framed as an investment of time, not money.
An investment of time. I like that. What are these excursions?
Designated times for nurturing our imaginations and developing a relationship with our authentic selves. Like browsing a new cafe, exploring thrift shops, visiting an art supply store just to wander and dream.
Sounds lovely, but that inner voice often says, too broke, too busy.
The book tackles that head on. None of us are too busy to find 2 hours a week. And if you really are, that's a sign you need to seriously reprioritize your personal life. A wake-up call.
Ouch. But probably true. So what do I love? How do I figure that out?
There's a great experiment suggested. Visit a home furnishing store you've never been to. Not to buy, just observe. And trust the impulse, capture the encounter, record the clues of what genuinely excites you. That wow. It reinforces the idea that you are an artist, creating your unique life with every choice. Hobbies are a low-pressure way to warm up our talents, try on imaginary lives, experiment without pressure.
Trying on imaginary lives?
Yeah.
That sounds fun. And puttering?
The art of puttering. Seen as the intersection of introspection and inspiration, scattering seeds for contentment and creativity.
Love it. Okay, what about managing stress? Emotional well-being, that's huge.
Absolutely crucial. The book encourages us to courageously confront the emotional clutter that has accumulated in your mental closet.
Emotional decluttering.
Yes. Just like physical clutter. It talks about emotional binging, those outbursts of anger, tears, anxiety. It encourages paying attention to your emotional weather patterns, asking yourself about sleep, food, exercise when outbursts happen. Stepping back, understanding triggers, not just being swept away.
Becoming an observer of your own emotion.
Exactly, which connects to that wisdom.
Yeah.
No behavior can be changed before it's acknowledged. You have to see it first.
Right.
The book suggests cultivating happiness as a practice, honing your sense of humor. Even just smiling can increase positive brain chemistry.
Really, just the physical act.
Apparently so. It stresses that changing inner emotional patterns is the real deep work. Acknowledging them, letting go of unconscious addictions to chaos, and trusting a wiser power to restore peace.
Deep work indeed. Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Success. That's a big one. How does the book approach it?
It really challenges our usual ideas, noting that few women believe they are successful because they don't feel successful, that quiet sense of inadequacy even with external achievements.
The imposter syndrome feeling.
Very much so. And the core idea is this vital distinction. 2 kinds of success. Worldly and authentic.
Worldly versus authentic.
Worldly is the usual stuff awards, fame, money, external validation. But authentic success, it's about living by your own lights. Guided by your inner compass, not the glare of popping flashbulbs.
Living by your own lights. I like that. Is there an example?
A really poignant one. An 1820 headstone inscription defining authentic success simply as, the only pain she ever caused was when she left us.
Wow. That cuts deep. Gets right to the heart of impact.
Doesn't it? It strips away all the external stuff. So authentic success, as the book defines it, is personal, internal.
What does it look like?
Having time for personal pursuits that bring pleasure, making loving gestures for family, caring for your home, your soul, living without deep regret, knowing you've shown up for your life.
Doing your best and knowing it's enough.
Exactly. Knowing that you've done the best that you possibly can and that the best you can do is always enough. And crucially, reaching the point where being is as important as doing.
Being versus doing. That's countercultural.
Hugely. The ultimate ambition. Simply to be happy at home. Finding peace within your own sphere. Redefining success as internal peace, not just external accumulation.
Okay, that redefinition feels important. So how do we actively pursue that? Invest in it.
That leads to practical application 7. Invest in your authentic gifts and ambition. It uses the parable of the buried talent.
Right. Don't hide your light.
Exactly. No, acknowledge, own your authentic gifts. Refusing to channel your ambitions, the book argues, is the real corruption of power, a disservice to yourself and the world.
So ambition isn't a bad word here.
Not authentic ambition, because action ambition in motion is what produces achievement. It frames us all as artists. Even baking a cake could be as much a work of art as choreographing a ballet if you approach it with as much dedication.
It's about the dedication, the mindful attention.
Yes. bringing love to the task. It reinterprets Rumpelstiltskin's spinning straw into gold as harnessing subconscious power, turning the impossible over to infinite intelligence.
How does that work? Is it magic?
Not magic, but a mental shift. Hold the vision, feel the thrill, give thanks in advance, then diligently work, letting divine power guide the steps, getting out of your own way.
Trusting the process. Does this connect to money too?
It does. It suggests doing what you love does eventually lead to the ATM, but the initial focus should be asking for wonder instead of money, shifting from lack to possibility.
Ask for wonder.
And it advises cultivating financial serenity. Live on less than you earn, save 10% in a serenity account, seen as a positive affirmation, a magnet for more.
Oh, serenity account. I like that name.
And practicing tithing, giving away a portion, because energy, including money, needs to circulate to increase. It changes your whole attitude about money, makes you expectant, generous, ready to receive.
Circulation, not hoarding. Makes sense. What about relationships? Connections with others?
Profoundly important. The book emphasizes the blessing of friends. Not just casual contacts, but deep spiritual nourishment.
Friends as blessings. How are they like angels?
It suggests they appear to provide grace, perform quiet miracles, act as divine messengers through intimate chats, God speaking through those heartfelt conversations.
Wow, divine messengers.
And this extends even to the kindness of strangers, viewing unexpected encounters as potential Celestine moments or angelic encounters, seeing the sacred in the everyday.
Recognizing magic in random interactions.
Yes. And it encourages nurturing these relationships. Thoughtful gestures, spur-of-the-moment flowers, cooking for friends in need.
Simple acts of care.
And maybe most profoundly, putting their names on a prayer list, calling it one of the greatest gifts we can give them. True spiritual support.
That is a gift. What about family?
It subtly reminds us about remembering extended families' birthdays, noting with some wisdom that more hurt and silent feelings smoldering over this one omitted gesture than you can imagine.
Oof. Point taken. Make thoughtfulness easy. Maybe create a system.
Exactly. Keep those threads of connection strong.
Okay, so bringing it all together. Authenticity, gratitude, simplicity, order, joy, success, relationships. How does this all connect to living with grace and faith day to day?
That's the beautiful weave throughout the book. It speaks with great empathy about the inevitable gaps in life, uncertainty, doubt, despair.
The hard times.
Yes. And it offers this counterintuitive comfort. The gaps are the thing. The Spirit's one home. It's in those spaces of quiet, the unknown, that true spiritual experience can unfold.
So don't fear the gaps.
Embrace them almost, which leads to the central practice. Asking for grace,
Yeah.
specifically and regularly, making it as natural as breathing.
Asking for grace.
They're redefined, not huge external changes, but an internal return to inner peace achieved by applying love, changing something within us, self-directed transformation.
Inner shifts, not outer fixes.
Exactly, and the book states this liberating truth. Everyday life is the prayer. Our actions, attitudes, attention transform mundane tasks into sacraments.
Everything becomes sacred potential.
Yes, a meal, a chore, a quiet moment, all opportunities. It offers simple affirmations like, all shall be well to console inner sadnesses, encouraging trust, accepting mysteries beyond our grasp, elevating the ordinary.
Inviting grace into every moment. Okay. So as we wrap up this deep dive into a daybook of comfort and joy, what are the absolute key insights? The distillation.
Well, I think it's remembering that authenticity, gratitude, simplicity, order, beauty, joy, they aren't just concepts. They're practical choices we make every single day.
Daily choices.
Yes. It's about redefining success by looking within, nurturing our unique gifts, finding profound connection in close relationships and unexpected encounters, recognizing truly that all you have is all you need.
All you have is all you need. Powerful.
And perhaps the most liberating takeaway is approaching life with an open heart, with grace, believing in miracles, knowing simplicity and abundance are soulmates, waiting to be revealed in the quiet moments.
Always there, waiting to be noticed.
As the book puts it so eloquently, an invitation. For each one of us, there is a desert to travel, a star to discover, and a being within ourselves to bring to life, a call to conscious evolution.
A beautiful call. So we invite you, our listener, to begin this journey, or maybe just deepen the one you're on. One day, one moment, one choice at a time. Trust your intuition. Embrace the richness of simple pleasures. Know deep down that truly it's a wonderful life. Open your heart to the wisdom inside you. It's waiting.
We hope you're leaving with fresh insights and a spark of inspiration. Remember to subscribe, leave a review, and check back for more episodes as we dive into new worlds of thought, one book at a time. Until then, keep your mind set in stone and your curiosity open. This has been a Big L Riz Media podcast, where big ideas meet lasting impressions.